The Liberals are now going after Pierre Poilievre for not overstepping and intervening in a provincial matter. Now, they always like to have their cake and eat it too. This is an amazing moment where a Liberal MP was talking about how these cultural issues are U.S.-style politics. He says they're bringing U.S.-style politics to Canada, but Pierre Poilievre not wanting to discuss these is also U.S.-style politics. Can't make this up.
Pierre Poilievre and his Conservative MPs don't want to talk about these issues. They think that this is a way to play to their right-wing base. They do not want to take on issues that matter fundamentally, not just to the kids we're talking about, but all of their parents. And this is right-wing American-style politics, culture wars that they're trying to import from the United States. I bet that the Premier talked about this with Tucker Carlson when she was in my city only a couple of weeks ago. And we have to stand up across the country, because if we think that this is just...
Okay, we're going to get into what's happening with Alberta and Danielle Smith in a moment here. But this was Pierre Poilievre at a conference where he was talking about auto theft, and auto theft is on the rise in Canada, and so is violent crime. And he's talking about his what will eventually be his policies in the next election for his tough on crime position. But in this, the reporter asked him about why his MPs are being silenced on the situation in Alberta.
Omni News. An internal email obtained by the Globe and Mail shows your party has advised MPs not to comment publicly on Alberta's new transgender health and education policies. Why are you telling MPs not to comment on this? And can you please tell us your opinion on your party's position on increasing restrictions on transgender youth?
Sorry, what's that? What was the last part of your question?
Why are you telling MPs not to comment on this? And can you please tell us your opinion on your party's position on increasing restrictions on transgender youth?
Okay, well, your question, it contains falsehoods. You should tell me what restrictions you're referring to.
That's the question they gave me.
Yeah, he's waiting.
That's the question they gave you. Who gave you that question?
That's from my office.
Just got it from his office. Just doing his job, right? Just doing his job. Now, what's happening in Alberta is they're passing legislation to, prevent teachers from doing largely what people were concerned about across the country and marched in the hundreds of thousands last summer. And this is the idea that this indoctrination might be happening in people's schools to their children and have no idea that it's actually taking place. Now, they've put forward some legislation, and well, it's a provincial matter. It really is. It's not a federal matter, and you're seeing this coming out of places like Alberta, New Brunswick, and others. But here's what Danielle Smith had to say.
My fellow Albertans, today I wish to address a very sensitive issue involving our children and gender identity. This is not always an easy conversation to have. I strongly believe that we as a society must support and reach out with kindness and inclusion to those who identify as transgender and work to eliminate the discrimination they often experience in their lives. As Premier of this province, I want every Albertan that identifies as transgender to know I care deeply about you and I accept you as you are. As long as I lead this province, I will ensure you are supported and your rights are protected.
Rights being protected is the more important thing about this. Now, I'll leave a link in the description down below. You can watch her whole 7.5-minute video talking about this. But here's an article from True North talking about how LGBT Albertans are reacting to Danielle Smith's new gender policy, and they're saying it's a step forward. It's actually a good thing. Now, obviously not everyone agrees with what she's doing, but some people absolutely do. Several LGBT Albertans are speaking out in favor of Premier Danielle Smith's new gender and parental rights policy, praising her compassionate approach. And it really is a nuanced approach. It's not the don't say gay stuff, which wasn't even what happened in Florida, but this what they're trying to spin it as. But this is where it is. Smith announced on Wednesday a ban on gender reassignment surgeries for minors, a ban on puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones for children under 16, and a requirement for parental notification and consent before a student under 16 can change his or her name or pronoun at school. Smith also implemented a requirement that teachers inform parents before a lesson on sexuality or gender takes place, as well as a ban on biological males participating in women's sports. This is it's pretty bold. It is pretty bold, but it really isn't that unreasonable, actually, in the grand scheme of things. And this is why it's gaining a lot of support across the country. But where it really matters is in Alberta. Now, what other provinces end up doing, we'll see moving forward. But is this a federal matter? Not really. And it's not something that they should really be stepping in and trying to change. But this is what, of course, they're doing. And the Liberal Party is jumping in here and saying that Pierre Poilievre and his Conservatives remain silent on policies that harm LGBTQ2 community. They keep changing the acronym. Every week it's a new one. But this community will keep fighting for a safe and inclusive future for all Canadians. That's great, but this is not really your purview. What happens in schools sports institutions? This is the thing. Now, they get this information. Federal Conservative Party advised its MPs not to comment publicly on Alberta's new transgender medical care and education policy. This is from the Globe and Mail. Now you can go check out the Globe and Mail's article, but it's of course behind a paywall. But all you got to do is go to Twitter, where people are taking excerpts from it. Here's Anne Rolle saying, "Staying out of provincial politics and parental rights is a line Liberals cross every single day." What was said in the article here, it notes that parents should be the decision makers on how they raise their kids. The internal email then goes on to highlight that provincial governments have jurisdiction over areas such as education and healthcare, and says premiers should be left to determine policies in those spheres. Yeah, but when you're the Liberal government, you're very used to overstepping this boundary and putting yourself into the provinces and not allowing them to govern as they're meant to govern. A third point suggested by Mr. Poilievre's office to his MPs underscores the right of adults to exercise their freedoms and live how they want to. Lastly, his office recommends Conservative MPs note that all Canadians deserve respect regardless of factors including but not limited to sexuality and gender identity. I don't see the big bad thing about this, but of course they want to turn it into a big bad thing. Here's more from that exchange.
Okay. This is the problem. Justin Trudeau and the media have been spreading disinformation to distract from his doubling of housing costs, his quadrupling of the carbon tax, the crime wave that he's unleashed across the country. And they're doing that by spreading disinformation on this and other issues. Justin Trudeau does not want to defend his appalling record of sending 2 million people to food banks. And so he's spreading disinformation on this subject with the help of the media, who want to cover up for his failures. Our approach is to focus on our common sense plan, to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
Enough said. They're trying to get away from talking about the things that are actually damaging them politically, so they want to get involved in provincial politics. Now, Danielle Smith, she's made many conferences talking about the reasons why she's actually motivated for this, and a lot of this is out of compassion. She talks about people who were pushed into these surgeries and then later end up regretting it, and this is something that's put into this. I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can listen to that as well. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. This is, of course, a provincial matter, and we're seeing provinces across Canada, in my estimate, taking the right approach to this and limiting things that adults should be doing to adults and adult spaces for those people. I think the education system is not really where this stuff should be spread around. Not only that, there should be no circumstance where a teacher has a secret about sexuality and says that they can't tell the parents about that. That should just definitely be an illegal thing. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.